Hey dog, you got some ice cream?
Hello my fellow males, it's me, Kurdistan, with another hilarious transgender video. I'm currently, like a year on hormones, and I gotta say, it's great. My penis inverted into a fat gorilla grip coochie with, built-in cup holders after like 2 seconds. It was pretty quick, like the moment I touched estrogen. I thought you had to inject it or something, but just boop, instant. It's crazy. No wonder the Democrats have been putting this stuff into the water supply, it's great.
White people be like, no. Black people be like,
The purpose of this video is to be talking about things that I have done as a stinky baby trans that hopefully I can say that some of you other stinky baby trans people to avoid, but not gospel. This is just my experiences and talking, and it might help you, might not. The entire purpose of this video is to deal psychic damage to my massive ego for the inevitable future for when I call the Kirbizibees to annex large portions of Catalonia and restore the anarchist commune in its full glory in a direct attack on a communist neoliberal fascist Spain, which has gripped on the hold of the no clark. But I made this video to contain that, so won't happen again. You're welcome, Spain. You get to exist for another 20 years. If you've been watching my videos, this might sort of seem like some contradictory advice from what I said in previous videos, but I always said to be honest with yourself. I think I've said this every time. If you have an immensely transphobic home environment, it's just better not to come out and do everything when you manage to leave. You're over 18. It sucks, and it's even more bullshit you're gonna have to deal with, but compared to the absolute hell come from having dysphoria on top of unsupportive parents, that's gonna be so much worse than just being sad portion of time until you get out. I mean, honestly, the worst thing about me saying this part is that it's just kind of choosing between the worst of two evils. Either you live with the slow, gradual destruction of your body by time and puberty, or you fight your family tooth and nail constantly, and as you watch the relationships you built out through your entire life get thrown out just so you can not want to kill yourself. Damn. It's a little bit dark. Here's a, look at this funny image. Escapism is a valid form of existence. There's no downsides of indulging in escapism constantly. Your penis, triples in size. It's crazy how it does that. The thing that I regret in hindsight would be the massive amount of stress I put on myself in attempting to get hormones under 18 so that I could get HRT, as soon as possible. There were so many fights and sufferings I put on myself. Even though I was 17, I could have waited like a year and been free to get to HRT with, no parental fights and navigations and awful trans under 18 healthcare. Because after 18, you can just go to any Planned Parenthood clinic and just get estrogen with informed consent, just like that. The thing about under 18 trans healthcare is that people, if they know you're under 18 and you have access to trans care, the trans care, everybody thinks if you have trans care, you're going to inject 300, gigafuckers of estrogen and overdose, or, you'll somehow regret the year-long battle you had to fight to get there in the first place. Which, I mean, this could happen to you, and I'm not saying that it's not going to happen. Maybe it really will work out like that for you. But in terms of the actual proportion of people who say, oh, I regretted it, Jewish Rothschilds ruined my life, compared to the rest of trans people who just kind of exist and were like, yeah, I needed it. Because obviously there's a market for people to yell and complain and say anything bad about transgenderism because all the old people are clutching their pearls going, a trans person. Honestly, the only thing we can do about that is just wait till they fucking die or move to Florida where their votes don't matter. Florida's not a real state.
Baba Booey.
So if you're under 18, you're not gonna get any dosage that is good or going to be effective. I was suicidal from dysphoria, and I got prescribed 0.25 milligrams a day from, under 18 trans healthcare. To put that in context, my current dosages, which I'm working with my doctor now, are still a little too low, is 75 milligrams a day. So I don't know the percentage, but that's like, gays can't do math. Okay, 300 times more estrogen per day. The only thing that really got me after this all super long battle was just some assuagement of, in my mind that I was making progress and not sitting there rotting. But in the grand scheme of things, it was honestly just a waste of time and not worth it at all for all the stress I had to go through fighting parents, and it wasn't worth it. I should have just waited till 18 anymore. What I got was garbage anyway. I mean, if you, are having struggles with identity issues, then I would say go see a therapist, with specialization in trans care. But it gets to a point where you're just like, fuck, every moment that nothing is happening is agony while I rot away. So if you already know yourself enough that you literally just need HRT just to stop the bad thoughts, just go to a Planned Parenthood after 18. They give you HRT. It's literally all they do. So, thank you, Greg Soros, for donating all your globalist Rothschild Zionist money to make sure I got big booby and fat milk. If you want a true symbol of the quote-unquote trans experience, it's a constant state of alienation. You really can't talk to anybody beyond the 9th trans Discord you joined. Join transgenderboob.com. In the real world, you're either treated with disgustingly saccharine takes of, oh wow, you're so brave, when in reality you just became trans to not kill yourself. Or, my only identity and defining feature is that I am the transgender. Thank you for introducing me to such and anybody. It's not like I'm a person, I'm the trans. Thank you. To be fair, this side of the coin comes from a misguided attempt to help, but it still doesn't help you not feel like the trans person instead of just the person or a person. Then on the other side, you have the silent hatred and judgment. The silent ways people look through you, only hoping to finish the talk with the trans person. Outright hatred people can express towards you without saying a word. Or just, the outright hatred people will express towards you with words. And the only thing you can really do is try not to cry and walk away fast, and hopefully they don't follow you and start a hate crime. Until you exist to the point where you can be considered, normal or passing enough to just be a person instead of the trans person, this is what your experience is basically going to be like. Do you think it will be different? You have nicer friends, family, nicer environment? Go ahead. I'm not going to be the one to try to constrain you or say anything, but keep that in mind. I would like that I would love that to be true. Do it, but from my experience, it's not a fun time. When I was in that baby trans phase of believing that, after I got HRT and moved out, I could be myself, honest with the world about myself, the constraints of the, legitimate religious progressive school I used to go to. After I embarrassingly outed myself to anybody who would say anything, like a fucking SJW cringe compilation number 37, I found myself all alone in college, embarrassed with how open I had been. I would go anywhere in fear that people would talk and know that I was the tranny. All people became either condescending, aggrandizing gods who in their utmost mercy allowed me to live, and then the other types of people were just another hurt feeling to cry about alone in my room. Maybe this isn't just like a trans thing, but more maturity thing for me, as you come to terms with the fact that, adults wear masks for a reason. Regardless, this time in my life where I thought I had it all figured out turned out to be just paranoid, anxious, alone. I could have avoided it all in the first place just by knowing not when to out myself. Nowadays, I don't out myself at all unless I need to out of necessity. Maybe your experiences will be different, but this is what it is for me. Dear God, I hope they are. It's self-imposed loneliness as opposed to constant alienation and paranoia. It's certainly a better choice for me. Yeah, that got kind of sad and real, so, it's called we do a little bit of trolling. Notice I distance myself from serious comments with irony. This is how you know I'm in a This video may seem like a half-disguised venting session, punching myself for being an idiot in the past, but the answer is, you got me. You're allowed one singular precious gold medallion. If you sell 30 of these medallions, you get a pizza party and a limousine. But this just gets back to the initial point. It's good to express emotions, no matter how shitty they are, how bad they make you feel. It lets you become more aware of yourself, just in general. All emotions have their right place and time. Anger is power. It's a universal motivator as much as sadness is. So if you're trans and out there, express those negative emotions. Cry over those who have wronged you. Don't be paralyzed by fear and insecurity. Get angry at those who have wronged you. Get angry at the system which has allowed you to suffer. Get angry that there are people who still suffer like you. Get angry at the world which chooses to pass you by. Get angry at the world which has allowed this to happen. Do something. But more importantly, meet me in Catalonia, March 2027, Kirbizibees Army. We will free Catalonia from the chains of those who oppress us.